Hello, lovely people. Welcome to my first voiceover. In the early stages of this art channel, I want to try as many things as I can with my videos to see what people like, and what I like too. I've thought about doing a sketchbook tour for a long time, but until recently, I didn't really have the platform to do it on. But now that I have a YouTube channel, I figured it was time to give it a try. This isn't exactly the sketchbook I thought I'd start out with, but I think it's a good one to begin on, since I feel like I learned a lot from working in it. I started this sketchbook when I was still at school getting my bachelor's degree. It was a time of explosive artistic growth, and also some of the worst dry spells I'd ever had. The pressure of making art in a college environment wasn't something I'd really prepared for, and I was getting desperate to find a way to keep making art every day, even when I didn't feel like picking up a pencil. So I tried lots of things, and eventually I landed on this. After the very first page, which I sketched out in pencil, I decided to challenge myself and only use ink pens for the rest of the sketchbook. My first sketches were a little tentative, until I gave myself permission to actually use the space. Nothing had to be perfect. This was a learning experience. With this sketchbook came certain challenges. First, the size. Up until this point, I'd only ever worked in 8.5 by 11 size sketchbooks, or on regular printer paper of the same size. I'd never tried to work consistently in something that was any smaller. How could I? There was no room. Or so I thought. The 5x7 sketchbook was the perfect size to carry in a jacket pocket with a single ink pen. Easy portable art. Another challenge was the medium itself. Obviously, ink has some limitations. You can't erase it. Up until this point, I leaned very heavily on erasers. If I screwed something up, I could just wipe it away and try again. And again. And again, and again, and again, and again, and again, ad nauseum. With ink, every mark you make is permanent. If I made a mistake, I would have to either live with it or make it part of the sketch. That concept was really difficult for me in the beginning. I'm still struggling not to be precious with my sketchbooks. To use them as they are meant to be used. For sketches. For working out ideas. I love the videos of those beautifully painted sketchbooks where every page is a masterpiece. But I heard it said somewhere recently, and I totally agree, that I don't consider those sketchbooks. They are a beautiful way to showcase an artist's skills and style, but I find that I view them more like a portfolio than a sketchbook. Sketchbooks are a place for experimentation and messing up, because that's where you learn the most. And to me, it's important to see that the artists I look up to are human too, and that they mess up and move on. As I continued to use this sketchbook, I realized something. The sketches were starting to look better, somehow. My lines weren't as shaky. There were fewer places where I ham-handedly tried to fix a line here or there. The line width was constant and regular, without the little wobbly bits where I could see myself questioning whether or not the line was in the right place, or following the right curve. The improvement in the confidence of my line work was noticeable, even after a short time. Even when I drew something that I hadn't previously drawn, as long as I had a fuzzy kind of idea of what I wanted to do, the particulars didn't matter, and my lines got better. I always wondered how artists who drew very stylized art that didn't follow the traditional rules of line and perspective and anatomy still somehow managed to make successful art. When the lines didn't meet up, or the color was applied outside the lines. Messy art, but it still looked intentional. How could this possibly be? Then I figured it out. Confidence. Not the kind of confidence that lets you stand up and declare, "I am a good artist." This kind of confidence is quieter, expressed in your body. Hesitation is what makes lines choppy and weak. When you question yourself when you're making a line, that hesitation shows. But when you throw that hesitation out the window, either with lots and lots of practice, or with a snap decision to not give a shit anymore, it's like a weight is gone. It doesn't happen immediately. Like anything, training your body and brain to do this takes time and effort and patience. Getting into this mindset was a game changer for me. Since I didn't care if my sketches were ugly, I almost welcomed the little imperfections that I had previously considered mistakes. The weirder I was able to go with these doodles, the better I felt about the sketchbook as a record of my journey. I try not to judge what I do in this sketchbook, and books like it, too much. Even if I read over my little poems or word splodges, and they read back as stupid and cringy and over the top, that's fine. This whole book is full of weird brain vomit, and good ideas are very often found in amongst or even inside the bad. It's just a matter of working through the things that everyone sees until you find something that only you see. And when I say bad ideas, I mostly mean the obvious, the overused, the cliché. Like most people, I have to work through those obvious ideas to find the little kernel that I can turn into something unique. And I find that returning to these little dramatic blurbs can trigger other ideas, or remind me of a particular image that I had in mind when I wrote them out. So they have their place here, as much as the weird faces do. If there's one thing that makes this whole exercise worth it, it's this. There is nothing better to feel as an artist than to realize that, all of a sudden, you feel comfortable drawing something that you struggled with before. For me, the standout in this regard was hands. The hands I draw in this book are by no stretch of the imagination realistic, but they still read as hands. I know enough about how hands work that I can put them in positions that I know will read as possible. But since I'm working in a stylized and surreal form, I can draw hands in all kinds of outrageous positions, and they still work. The proportions and poses have been pushed to the nth degree, but they're still hands. The day I realized that I could draw hands more comfortably was a great day. As artists, we learn to cherish those eureka moments, and they give us the confidence to keep going, to chase that next aha. Well, here we are at the end. If you're still around, I want to thank you for sticking with me through this tour. I always enjoy looking back on this sketchbook. It has so many fun ideas for me to work with, and it makes me proud of the improvement that it represents. This sketchbook means a lot to me, and it was truly a joy to share it with all of you. Anyway, lovely people, I hope you enjoyed going through this book of doodles with me, and maybe it'll encourage you to make your own ink-only sketchbook. I'll see you in the next video.